The Beach Boys, one of the founding bands of rock and roll, should be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for a variety of reasons. Some of the Beach Boys' history began in the early 1960s. It was then that Brian Wilson started writing music. He loved Chuck Berry and was influenced by his style. Brian was also influenced to write surfer music by his brother, Dennis Wilson. Dennis is the only member of the Beach Boys who actually surfed. Dennis, Brian, and Carl were joined by their cousin Mike Love and her friend Al Jardine. The Beach Boys were thus formed. One day, the Wilson brothers' parents weren't on vacation and left some money for them for food. The brothers then took that money and bought instruments instead. They were just learning how to play, so the music was not that complicated. Despite this, their music was fun and upbeat. Brian made most of their music, but it was Dennis that had the idea of surfing. But the Beach Boys had a lot of big hits, and even went on some tours. They invested $16,000 into the song Good Vibrations, which immediately took #1 on the charts. Sadly, Dennis Wilson drowned after getting drunk one night. After Dennis died, Brian started having mental problems, and sadly, the band fell apart. Even though the Beach Boys fell apart, their music will still live on in our hearts. The Beach Boys were very good because they put their teenage American dreams into their songs. The Beach Boys had a huge influence on rock and roll. They showed us that anyone who has talent can make it in music in America. At a time when lots of bands were English, they were American through and through. Their songs were all about life in America as a teenager. They have catchy tunes that people still like to sing and hear today. Because their music had stood the test of time and are very specific to the American culture, the Beach Boys should be inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.